Sorry, friend. You gotta go.
Get some more.
Yo, what's good, people? Izzy Max here, back again with a VGC update. This is super interesting because the Pokemon Company and Game Freak have never done this before. But for Series 6, which ends up starting next month, we're actually going to have a ban list for the first time, like I said, ever. So today we're just going to kind of break it down because this is super interesting and it's going to change the meta a lot. So what they ended up doing is they took the top 10 Pokemon from both singles and doubles, and they just ended up banning them. You can't use them anymore. As you can see on the screen, there is all 16. This is going to kill a lot of strategies. So leading things off, we're going to have Cinderace being banned. This thing is super powerful, super strong. It's your Libero user. You can't use G-Max either. It's just completely gone. So this is an offensive threat that was kind of wrecking house. If you didn't have an answer to it, it could literally just destroy your entire team. But yeah, no, it's gone. Rillaboom now is also gone. You could still use Thwackey, which Thwackey might see some use now. I'm not 100% sure, but not having Rillaboom is huge. This was your grassy terrain setter with Grassy Glide. It gets Fake Out, Knock Off. It just ran a lot of sets, and for a long time, I don't know if it still is, because I think it's Incineroar now, as you can see on the list as well, but this was number 1 in the usage charts for a long time. So next up, Porygon. Dusclops is now your premier Trick Room setter. Again, be prepared to see a lot more Dusclops. This sucks, because Porygon was actually picking up steam as the premier Trick Room setter again. This thing is actually really good, but now you really only have Dusclops. This thing did offer, I would say, a little bit more of a versatile mon, because you weren't just there supporting. You can target around a Dusclops and just kill everything that isn't Dusclops and win. With the Porygon, you could still win with the Porygon. So I think this is a big hit to some Trick Room teams. Up next is the god itself, Togekiss. This thing has been a menace ever since probably, I think, Series 2, when it kind of got discovered, but you now no longer have the Crit Kiss. You lose a very good supportive Follow Me user. Speed control with the Max Airstream. This mon was virtually, you could just slot into your team and you'd be fine. But not having this now kind of takes a little more of the RNG out, because I know a lot of people didn't like the crit set, so that is gone. Next up, we have my boy Dragapult. This thing, again, was probably the most versatile mon in the meta, and with it not being here anymore, it's gonna suck. You can run physical, you can run special, you can run support, you can run it to set up other Pokemon, because it gets beat up. It gets Surf, Light Screens, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, all the physical, all the special moves. Like, this thing was insane. So I hate to see this one go, because I really do like Dragapult. Next up is Mimikyu. I don't know if this was a singles ban or a doubles ban, because I don't really see it all too often in doubles. But this is kind of, you could use it as a Trick Room setter or denier. Disguise is really good. It hits decently hard. You do kind of have to set up, but it does get Swords Dance. Overall, just a really good mon, and I'm thinking this was a singles ban, but next up, definitely a singles ban, is Hippowdon. You're going to see on the list Excadrill and T-Tar are on this list as well. So your only Sand setter is going to be Gigalith. Your only Sand abuser, I think, might just be Stoutland. So I do think Sand is going to be kind of dead. I don't see it coming back, really. Hippowdon, not much to say about it. It is really bulky, like, defensively, but this was definitely 100% a singles ban. Next up, we have Excadrill. This was another mon. You could even run this thing outside of Sand, but with this gone, it really does kill the Sand strategies. Mold Breaker was really good. I do expect the Rotoms. I think Rotom Wash benefited the most from this, and I'm going to expect that thing to just skyrocket in usage. Of course, when Series 6 comes out. But losing Excadrill was huge. We lost both Indeedys. So I think this one is actually very, very impactful. We no longer have Psychic Surge. This was our only Psychic Terrain setter. So Psy Spam is probably dead unless you want to use your Dynamax to set it up. We lost another Follow Me setter, or another Follow Me user. This was a Trick Room Imprison user on the male side. This one I think might have a little more impact than people realize. But next up we have Venusaur. This was your premier Sun setter. I think Sun is also dead. Not having Venusaur or Torquel is a huge hit because that forces them to run. I mean, I guess it could still live. They do have Vileplume and Lilligant, but I don't think it's going to be as good or even viable as it is now. Venusaur was just so important to that strategy, being able to use Vine Lash, being able to use Sleep Powder. And it hits relatively hard, decently bulky, but losing Venusaur is actually super, super important. Your premier Sand setter, Weakness Policy user, Dark type other than Incineroar is now gone. This is a big hit for me personally because T-Tar is my favorite. I try slotting it into almost every team I have. But it is just overall a good mon. You can run it as a Trick Room Sweeper. You can run it fast. Hell, you can run Dragon Dance on it. This was overall just a really solid Pokemon. And yeah, I don't think Gigalith is going to do the job that this thing was doing. I already mentioned Torquel. So your Sunsetter's Ninetales. That's all you got. I mean, I guess you can run Vulpix, but why? Losing Torquel, Trick Room. You can't really run a hybrid anymore if you're running Sand or Sun. But Torquel was actually, I don't like Torquel. I prefer to use Ninetales, and I know that's objectively worse. But I feel like Torquel just kind of puts you in one dimension, and I didn't like it. And if you don't have Trick Room up, Torquel potentially can just die. Gyarados is next. This is actually one I'm super sad about because Gyarados in the beginning seasons of VGC, it was really, really good. And it started falling off really hard. And then here recently it started picking up steam again, and then it got banned. This is definitely a singles ban because it was not in the top 10 yet, but was climbing for it. So losing Gyarados is kind of sucky. We do lose an Intimidate user. But other than that, it wasn't in the top 10 for VGC, so it's not too terribly important. Up next is Whimsicott, our Tailwind user. I do believe this puts, I guess, Talonflame as the best Tailwind user now. If you need Tailwind, you're probably going to use Talonflame. But what sucks is this thing also got beat up, Fake Tears, and other support moves. So it's going to be really hard to fill the role that you needed Whimsicott to fill. If you needed both, or all three, beat up, Fake Tears, Tailwind, just Whimsicott's going to be kind of hard. Next up, another singles ban, I do believe, but this is Magnazone. This is our only electric type. Yep. So it's actually, what I noticed is it's actually right now really hard pressed to find a good steel type. So a lot of times people do just tech in Excadrill. But now they're taking away Excadrill and Magnazone. So steel types are really going to be, I guess, kind of scraping the barrel to find one that will be viable and useful on a team. But Magnazone, again, is just a singles ban. It's really good though. Magnet Pull, not too worth it without hidden powers. But it hits really, really hard, can be used under Trick Room. And then lastly, I blame Wolfie for this ban. He's been banned Incineroar. He made shirts. But Incineroar finally getting banned. This thing has been a menace. I think this was actually #1 on the charts now. But super bulky, Intimidate, Parting Shot, Fake Out, Burning Jealousy. What else does it get? Just a bunch of supportive moves. It's super bulky. And yeah, this ban list is going to change the meta a lot. Like I said, I don't think Sand will be used. The key strategies I don't think will be used. Psy Spam, probably gone. Sand is pretty weak at the moment. Sun might still exist, but I don't think it'll be as good as it was. Amoonguss is going to be everywhere. I do believe Amoonguss and Clef. Those two are going to be everywhere. If you needed sleep spores and stuff, because Venusaur is now gone, you're going to use Amoonguss. If you need extra bulk with a Follow Me user, you're probably going to use Clef. Clefairy, not Clefable. But I can see those two being just skyrocketing in usage. Dusclops is going to be way up there because that's going to be literally your only reliable Trick Room setter now. Expect to see Thwackey. That's going to be my hard take. Expect to see some Thwackey. And I think that's about it. Oh, they completely killed Ted. Ted was Togekiss, Excadrill, Dragapult. That was actually his core strategy, but that's just gone now. Porygon Z looks really good. And as weird as this sounds, I think Dracovish could see some more play because it doesn't necessarily have to run all that speed with its focus or with its Choice Scarf now, because Dragapult, with being the fastest mon in the meta, it was relying on its speed to actually outspeed Dracovish, because Dracovish at base 75 was like 4 or 5 points slower than Dragapult. So now Dracovish can actually drop down to what is actually next. I'm actually going to find out here. Let's see. So here is Dragapult. Not worrying about that. Not really worrying about Talonflame, Weavile, Bombi. Man, it can drop really, really far. I guess it's going to probably drop as far as Inteleon at the moment. So that's kind of interesting, but that's going to be it for this. I'm excited to see the meta. Granted, this is going to happen next month. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.